a left arm and right arm swipe. In the second phase, he'll repeat that 2 times in a row. So, and it does have such a wide clock range to it too. But that's a lot of the attacks in at least in this game, where on a 360 degree range of being able to attack, there's only probably about maybe 80 degrees where it's a save window. It's very deceptive. Mesmer's quite like that as well. So that attack in second phase he'll do twice in a row. So deceptive with this fucking camera. About up against the fucking wall. Bad positioning. My internet has been fucking up today for the upload for some reason. Oh, I know what it is. When I did the backup save, it uploads to the cloud. So that's probably what was happening earlier. Unfortunately, we don't get very good upload in our region. I need to probably switch over to Starlink. It's a little bit pricier than what I'm currently paying, but eventually that's probably going to happen. I'm dead. Okay. So the old way I used to fight them, and the reason why it took me so long is this: you just can't fight them. I can't fight them the way I would like to fight them. For example, Abritas, I can fight her up close. It's hard because her body box, you get caught on her body so easily, but it is the best way in my opinion because you avoid pretty much the majority of her attacks, except for when she hops in the air. But if you're positioned correctly, you can avoid that. Lawrence, you really have to do like what I'm doing. You have to kind of like wait for him and, you know, wait for her to attack and go in. The good thing, the upside to that is you don't have camera issues because the camera, because you're going to be at a certain distance, you're never going to have to really worry too much about the camera. Maybe that was From Software's way of saying, yeah, you can't fight this boss like that. Or they don't want you to fight him like that. I guess it also depends on the weapon and build. That's kind of odd. I should have got his arm. Okay, that was weird. Okay, got his arm there. I'm gonna die. Or unlock from him. The backhand. I thought he only did that in second phase. Wall again. the fuck? That was really weird.
Boy.
Hey, Drago, how you doing, man? I meant to stream yesterday, but I got busy with other things, and I was also uploading the Friday stream. But I got it all up there now. It's... yeah. Hey! It's... I don't want to say it's the best solution, but for my current skill level and what I know of Lawrence right now, it does seem to be working fairly well. It does help getting out of blast range. Gotta get off this wall. I'm dead. I'm seeing a lot more of the fight in regards to what you can do, what you can't do, that I really didn't see before in my first encounter. And I've concluded, based off of just not even an hour yet, that probably about 30-45 minutes, that I think that the way they wanted you to fight Lawrence is more like at a distance. Like, you have to get up to him and hit him, obviously, but you can't fight him like the way I did at Breedis, just because of because the way his body box works, and because of all his little attacks that he'll do, because he'll just, you'll die before you really capitalize on making it worthwhile. You could there might be an argument where you could have a visceral, like bump up the visceral, or no, not the visceral, the rally, because I think there's some runes that give you more rally, and then gems also, and then you could trade with him from the damage that you do if you're fighting him up close. That might be an option. But it definitely seems like they wanted you to fight him kind of more at a distance, where you can like watch, what he's actually doing, and then go in and do attacks.
Boy.
Yeah, exactly. And that was, if you go back, and I wouldn't recommend it, but if you go back and look at my previous attempts, dude, I fucking dodged that second swipe. The previous attempts, the whole time I was fighting him, I was trying to fight him up close, and you really can't. But I was really stubborn. I'm like, there's got to be a way to be able to do it. I mean, I think it could be done, but it's just so much, because it's so random, and there's so much, I don't know if I call it chip damage, because it's not really chip damage, but you just take too much. You would have to have a real high return on rally to be able to trade with them. Dude. It's worth noting that you lose the serrated bonus with the transform cleaver for whatever reason. Oh, okay. So that was counter damage along with his attack that pretty much allowed for a one shot. If you do go back and watch my recent fight of Gurman, you'll notice when I did the kill, when he buffs. Yeah, that was a total fuck up on my part. You'll notice that with Gurman, he'll go to do the buff, and I just stood behind him and just ate his AoE explosion. Because I know people are going to look at that and be like, why the fuck did you do that? Why'd you just sit there and take the damage? And the reason why I did that is because every time I was doing, if I move at all, even if I'm not dodging, I don't understand it. There's some really weird shit about Gurman, and I don't want to say that it's jank because maybe it's supposed to be that way, but in short, if I don't stand still, he'll one-shot me. But if I stand still and just eat the AoE and just hop back up and heal, I can survive it. And that's why I did that. I'm not saying it's the best solution, but I just kept dying over and over and getting him, low on health to almost killing him. And then he would do that buff and one-shot me. Same thing with his aerial attack. So I just got to the point where it's like, all right, fuck it. I'll just eat it. I did dodge that, but he got me anyway.
Boy.
It's livable damage trade, yeah. I don't like it though. It looks sloppy. Okay, I deserve that. know he's critical, but I'm just gonna... Sometimes going for the critical is not always the best choice. Ouch. Okay, the range. Range got me. So the fight that has given me the most trouble has been Gurman. I think if I'd have probably had a +10 when I fought him, it probably would have not have been, you know, near as rough. But I kind of felt that the +9 was enough. I felt that the damage was, you know, appropriate. It just got really, like his third, I guess it's his third phase, is where things really start to get, kind of rough with Gurman because of that. Like, you can't break his stance. So you kind of have to, I guess, sidestep him and just wait for your opening shots to get him. His poise is also very inconsistent. Like, there are times you can do certain attacks with him. There's times where you can do certain attacks with him. Like, if I run in and I do a heavy attack, I would say 2 out of 3 times his stance won't break. But there is that 1/3 time where it will break. And that's kind of how it goes through the whole fight. So what I find... So I think it is one of the better designed fights in the game, but also think that... And maybe you'll have an explanation for this because it's something that I just am a little bit puzzled about. So what we do know of Bloodborne is, with the rally mechanic, is the intention is to motivate players to play more aggressively because you're rewarded for playing more aggressively. And I get that, and that is really cool. I like that. But if you try to do that with Gurman, and I noticed he was one of the worst about it, there may be other encounters that I hadn't really noticed. It's really difficult to exercise that aggression because you don't know when you're going to get a stance break with him. It's so inconsistent. So, like, you want to sit there. Okay, I'm going to explain this before I go into the fight. So, if you do a... Let me put on my other weapon. Actually, I think I went small. So, if I do a heavy attack like that, especially if I'm running... In the beginning of the fight, sometimes his stance will break and sometimes it won't. And I'm doing the exact same attack. I don't understand that. If I play Elden Ring and I do with my build, I know that if I do a certain series of attacks in a certain time frame, I'm going to get a stance break. If I take too long, then it won't because the poise meter will refill. But then there's ways to mitigate that by throwing like darts or something to prevent the poise bar. You can't do that in Bloodborne, at least not to my knowledge. Maybe you can. Maybe you can throw knives or whatever to... maybe there's a invisible poise meter. There probably is. But it's not consistent like it is in Elden Ring. So if I go to do an attack, I don't know if I'm going to get a poise break on Gurman. And this is before he gets to the later stage, because then he's not breaking at all. Okay, fair enough. I can live with that. So he's got infinite poise at that point. But in the earlier first two phases, I don't know. And the problem with that is if you don't know you're going to get a poise break, then you don't know when you can capitalize and continue to do attacks. So then you don't know if you can, reap the rewards of your rally if you do take damage. Now, maybe I'm looking at it wrong, but that's true about his poise meter. I'm just a little confused on what did they want us to do? I'm not saying it's bad design. I don't know. I actually like the fight. I'm confused is basically what I'm trying to communicate. I don't understand it. And so far he's the only fight that I seem to notice that with. Maria, I'm gonna have to go back and fight her because I killed her so quick that I probably just got good RNG and plus with some of the visceral attacks. But she may be the same way. I don't know. I'll have to go back and try her. I can't 100% say without studying it, but from what I recall, there is a difference in how much poise damage you take depending on your current animation, and I think that's true for hunter fights as well. Okay. Well, if you have the time, if you're interested, if you go back, I don't know what part it is. I think it's like part 15 or 16, but you can just jump in and skim through the timeline and just watch, maybe 3 or 4 of the attempts of Gurman. And I'm opening up with the same attack every time, because what I would do is I would do a blood tap right before I would attack him. I would do a blood tap. I would have my rally up so that way I could run at him and then do a heavy attack to gain some of that life back, because I only had 20 heals and I was just, trying to maximize my heals or whatever. And that's kind of why I went that approach. And the reason for that was because the runes I went with were the damage reduction, HP and stamina, instead of going with more vials, because I feel like this loadout seems to work pretty well for me, so I just felt it was the better way to go. But you don't have to sit there and watch all the fights, but you can just kind of watch those initial openings. I'm pretty much doing the same opening every single time, and you'll see that sometimes his stance breaks and sometimes it doesn't. I would not wait, but the earlier attempts are not worth watching. It's probably the attempts after the first 30 minutes, because at that point I'm pretty much consistently doing the same thing. So I felt the opening of the way I would engage him was working, but to a certain extent, but again, it was very random on whether I'd get a stance break, because if I got the stance break, then I could actually follow up with more attacks, and then I can reposition or shoot him, and play more aggressive. And you'll notice every time I would get the stance break, that the fight would be really going very well for me. But it was just so random. And like, I actually don't mind. I would rather it just be consistent. Like, if I can't get a stance break, okay, fine. But for it to be so random like that, I don't understand it. It's really weird. And it's the only time I've seen in a Souls game where it's been so random. At least that I've noticed. But maybe you'll see something that I didn't. I mean, you're far more knowledgeable about this game than I am, so there's probably some explanation of something that I don't understand. And that's all really it is. I just want to understand, like, what the hell's going on. I was kind of being an asshole. Shit. Fucking locked on. That fucked me up. Yeah, I knew I had that coming. I didn't find out until it was a little too late. Another question I have. I'll wait till I finish this attempt. I'm gonna have enough heals to get through this.
Boy.
Yeah. Oh, he's down. Okay. Okay, this phase always fucks me. I need to keep keep him on the wall. Okay, he's gonna spray. And he's gonna charge. And he's gonna pause for a minute. I need to get out. I'm fucked. Fuck. Yep. That was bad positioning on my part. It's the one thing I keep telling people when they say you never transform it and still forget some of the fights where it's useful. Yeah. So I would say, that's just my opinion, I at least with the way I'm playing, I think a good portion of the time extended is the preferred way. However, if you get behind him and he's down, maybe not in a critical state, but he's locked, animation locked, that's a good time to go, you know, cleaver and then start just shredding him. And, you know, with practice, of course, that, you know, it's going to take some practice. So I think I positioned him fairly well until the end. I don't think it's good to, at least from what I could see, to have him on the corner. In fact, like, instead of bringing him all the way to the corner here, like bring him, like start circling, kiting him around the other way sooner. If the boss leaves an opening for you to go to town, few weapons will go to town. But yeah, you're right. That's why I'm very torn between this and the Ludwig blade. I mean, not that I need to be. I can use both because, you know, the game, you know, it seems to encourage, you know, using two different weapons because they have two different slots. So I like that. So far I'm kind of liking, you know, swapping between the two. Oh, I'm sure. I didn't unlock in time. I paid for it. He's so hard to get around. I mean, I'm not locked on, but even... I don't know who's harder, him or Calamite. Okay, this is a time. That's a good time for like saw cleaver. I need to get out of there. I'm getting too greedy. Got some good damage though. I'm getting greedy. I need to get out of there. This is a plus 10 saw cleaver, by the way. To circle around. Oh, that fucking range. I'm dead. Nope. If I'm gonna have enough heals to get through this, I need to be very, very conservative here. Shit, I'm dead. Yeah, I'm dead. Lawrence third stage, when he crawls, has such high fucking defense. It's disgusting. Yeah, that lava is so bad because the lava, if you get caught, if you're just barely getting hit by it, it staggers you. So it locks you down. And then he'll hit you with like something else. So that's why you really have to watch, not get caught in that lava. Not that I need to tell you that, but I'm very much aware of it. I guess that's the reason why I'm mentioning it. Give me 1 second here. I need to wet my whistle. This fucking hunter. Well, that's what, 2 third phases we've gotten, so that's a little bit of progression there. Right. I actually did attempt that, and it was pretty rough. In fact, the guy who introduced me to Bloodborne, fuck, I've still got him followed, but I don't watch Twitch much anymore. I'm trying to remember what his name was, but he was fighting Lawrence. That's how I discovered this game, and I must have watched this guy for literally, no exaggeration, for about a month, and he was about maybe 65, level 70, somewhere in that ballpark. And he was using the axe, but he didn't give up. Like, he was terrible, just like I was. You know, we were both bad. But what I really liked about watching him, and I watched him like every day, I just loved his persistency. Like, you know, he didn't give up. He kept going in. And then getting to watch him finally get the kill, it was just awesome. And like, I found it very inspiring. I was like, and then when I tried it, obviously I went with the cleaver, but I went back after I killed Lawrence and I tried it with the axe. It was so rough. I was like, damn, this dude had it way harder. Because that axe is a bitch to fight with Lawrence. It can be done, obviously, but it's a much more difficult fight. So I think it was Sour Kool-Aid is his name on Twitch. Yeah, Sour Kool-Aid. But yeah, I just really appreciated, you know, his tenacity. He just kept going. I shouldn't say like he did it every day for a month, but you know, several days a week he would chip away at Lawrence. Might be in trouble here. Okay, I'm all right. Need to disengage. Shit! I got caught on his body. Okay, I'm gonna die if I don't get out of there. He's gonna just backhand me over and over again. I ate that on purpose. I just want to see if I could do it. Okay. That follow-up attack finished me off. I wonder if it would be worth it in the opening to eat that damage and just go ham with them. I don't know. Probably not.
Boy.
I know, right? It was actually, even though we didn't get to third phase, it was still a good attempt. I think I'm right at around the 1 hour mark on him. I think I started him around 148. We're at 256 on the stream. I had to go back and kind of do a few quest lines that I forgot about. Simon's quest, and then the one of the inmates. I wonder how to bait him into jumping at me. Because that was working really well. Fucked. That was a little bit greedy there. Ouch. I went to dodge that, but that didn't work out. probably should have locked on there. I need to, when I get behind him, I need to remember to lock on. But if I do, it kind of pulls me around to his front. I'm dead. Yeah. So if I'm behind him and I go to lock on, I don't want to say it'll do this every time, but it will pull me in front of his knee, and I don't want to be pulled over there. I'm trying to stay behind him. I can free him. He's got his hitbox is actually not bad. It's one of the few bosses where the hitbox is, I would say, more in line with being fair. So I had a question that maybe you can answer for me. There's these beasts down there outside, and they've been acting like whenever you equip the hunter's torch and you're like in that second area where you're progressing to Bloodstarved beast, if you equip the hunter's torch, the beasts will actually put their arms up like they're afraid of you because you've got the torch on. But these beasts in this area, I don't have the torch on, but they react to me as if I do have it on. And I don't understand why that is. I mean, it's not a complaint, but it's just weird. I wouldn't say he's as bad as Calamite, but Calamite is such a bitch to get around. You motherfucker. Ah, he got me. I think that was counter damage. I should have ran instead of dodged. But that's what, if I can get him to do that more, that would be great, because that's a great opening to capitalize on. Yeah, they're scared of all hunters because this nightmare is from the time when hunters hunted every night. Most lesser beasts are terrified of hunters here. This also happens with enemy. Oh, yeah, okay, that makes a lot of sense, because the hunters here are also killing the beasts too. Okay. So I'm doing this at 65 with a plus 10, and I don't feel that it's unbalanced. I don't feel underpowered. I don't feel overpowered. A lot of the deaths are just me, making bad mistakes or just getting unlucky. I don't know if I'm going to feel that way about Orphan, but I'm not. I have a little bit of an idea of what I want to do with Orphan. Okay, that was not good. It's mostly positioning, and Lawrence is notoriously hard boss to position correctly. Yeah, I agree. And he just hops. Like, damn it. Might not have enough heals if I even get him to third phase. Okay. I got a little greedy there, and the camera's getting a little wild. All right. This is not a good position to be in. All right. Shit. I need to get him along the wall a little bit better. Okay, there he goes. Nope, he didn't do it. Come on. Spray me. There he goes. That's not a good position. It's not a good position. Because I'd end up getting caught up on the wall there. I failed for that earlier. I need to get him on the other side. Oh! Bad, bad, bad. Come on, spray me. I need him to spray that lava. Well, not, that was not a good setup. Whoa! He closed distance pretty quick there. Can you please spray, yo? I'm at the fucking distance here. What do I need to get him to spray? There we go. We might get him. I don't want to start sucking my own dick here, but we might get him. I should probably get around him here. Oh. Shit! I'm dead. Oh, I survived. I have no idea how I survived that. Alright, we're doing good on heals. A little cooperation, Lawrence. A little cooperation. There he goes. There he goes. I didn't get much in on that. That's okay. A little here, a little there is fine. Great soundtrack, by the way. He's going to do a big swipe. So, there he goes, there he goes. Alright. Let's top off. Fuck.
Boy.
Okay, this might be it. We're gonna go for it. I got it. Level 65. That's the rune loadout, and then the that is the saw cleaver loadout that I went with. And that took me. We started at 148. We're at 311 now, so with that's a little over an hour, hour and a half. So cool. Okay. All right, let's go buy blood vials, and we still had 4 left. So yeah, it's kind of like what you're saying. It's about positioning for Lawrence, especially in that third phase. There is so much room for error because you don't know if he's going to start doing those big swipes, and if you just so happen to be going to reposition and he catches you with one and you get counter damage, it could end up one-shotting you. If they ever decided to do a Bloodborne remaster, I'd love for them to actually finish the Lawrence fight. Oh, really? So was there supposed to be more to it? Ooh, I should probably repair. Apparently there was another boss that was intended to be put in the game, and there's a mod that you can download that will like re-add the boss to the game. I don't know the name of the boss, but yeah. No, I don't want to do that. I want to repair. And let me stash some of this other garbage I don't need. Lawrence is an unfinished boss that they decided to keep as an optional fight. Oh, okay. Yeah, because he is optional, I guess, so. Okay, so I'm going to take a bio break before I start, but let me set this up. Yeah, the Beast Old... Yes, that's the one. I found out about it when I was doing research for the mods, because there's a bunch of mods on Nexus, and I was just going through them all, and I saw that. I was like, oh, but that makes sense, because a lot of times you'll see where they'll, how should I say, a lot of developers will leave out bosses or whatever. Like, for example, God of War 2018, when you're going through Helheim for the first time. What actually, I don't know if it's the first time or the second time. I forgot to ask Corey about that, but you do return to it, but there's a bird boss at the end, but you never fight him. You can just see him in the distance. And Corey was saying that the reason why they didn't get to put it in is because of the budget, not necessarily because of time. And I was like, oh man, that's such a shame. It's still a masterful game. I mean, it's definitely like top 10 list of favorite games, obviously, but another example, Patches has an unused character model in the... Oh, okay. Yeah, I fell for Patches' trap. Right when I realized it was Patches' trap, I was like, that motherfucker. Like, it was so blatantly obvious, too. And I'm just like walking along. I'm in that Amy Dalla area, and I'm just like, yep. Good old Patches. And to be fair, the only time I've killed Patches was an accident. That was in Elden Ring. I was doing, the quest, and it's not a quest, but one of the achievements is to collecting all the gestures in Elden Ring. And in order to collect Patches' gesture, you have to fight him and get him to low health, and then he'll beg for forgiveness or whatever. I did that, but unfortunately, I rolled behind him on accident, and instead of just hitting him, because I was using a dagger, it wasn't very powerful, but the backstab was enough to kill him. And I didn't do a backup save before doing it. I'm usually pretty good about doing backup saves, but I didn't do a backup save before doing it, so I had to end up doing like that whole section over again. It really sucked, just because of time constraints. But that was an accident. I actually didn't mean to kill Patches. Okay, let's see. So we get 50 physical on that. I really like the top hat, but it's not really good on physical. This one's pretty good. I actually kind of like this hat. I don't mind speccing for armor or attire if we're going to attempt them at 65, but I want to see how it goes, because, not to sound arrogant, but I'm a little better than I was the first time I fought him. So there's the possibility that I might actually be able to kill him at 65. I mean, I know it's possible. I shouldn't say it's not, but within a reasonable amount of time is the point. That's a lot of defense on that. 60. That one's really cool. I kind of like that. I don't know if you've seen that game Blasphemous, but Blasphemous, I forget the name of the character, has a helm that's similar to this. And I found a 3D model, and I was asking some of the guys in the Discord, because I did go to art school to do 3D animation for game design, but I haven't touched that shit in a long time. So I was trying to ask them, like, how would I go about trying to get that imported in so I could actually maybe use that. But they said that I just need to find a model. I was able to find one for like $10, but I just haven't gotten around to it. So I'm watching you get slapped around by Gurman, and it seems to be largely animation based. The move I'm seeing where he ignores your initial charge is the long charge up move, right, which is one of his highest poise moves. Oh, okay. So if he gets that attack going before I get that initial heavy attack, that's okay. I'll go back and look at it. Thank you for looking at it and giving me some insight on that. Blasphemous is great. The damage is a little in the first game, so the second game is a little more balanced, although I would argue it's too easy in the earlier game. But it gets appropriately difficult as you progress. But the first game was way overtuned, like how much damage you take. There are enemies you could have like the max health, and you get hit like two times and you're dead. Yeah, it's a little overtuned, but it's a great game, and the soundtrack is great. It's probably one of the closest to like a 2D Souls game. And then Vigil Signal of the Night is pretty good. It's not as brutal. That's actually a little bit. It's still it's moderately challenging, but not as brutal as Blasphemous. I did buy the DLC, but I haven't gotten around to playing it. This one's pretty cool, the Canehurst. So I'm kind of torn between Canehurst and this one. That one looks so cool, though. They both look pretty cool. I'm not worried about the arcane. I know he does, I believe he does an arcane attack. I'm not going to worry about that. If I get hit by it, it's my own fucking fault. I'm looking forward to playing First Berserker Kazan. I was gonna play it, and then I got sidetracked with Bloodborne, and then I thought about it. I was like, almost every game when it launches on PC needs some sort of patch, for fixes and things like that. So I was like, yeah, I'll just wait. I'll just enjoy my time with Bloodborne. By the time I get to it, hopefully it'll be patched and it'll be in a little bit better balanced state. I've always been partial to the beak mask myself, and Dajora's hat with the frosted tips. When you say the beak, do you mean Aline's? This one? Aline's headpiece, I think. Or Eileen. Is it Eileen? Might be Eileen. Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, I really love the NPCs from both Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3. Not that I don't like any of the others, but, and I've already said this before, I'm kind of repeating myself, but there were some good ones in Elden Ring as well. I don't want to make it seem like none of them are good. All right, let's see. I think I do want to keep my chess piece. I really like this chess piece. Oh, well, the physical is not too bad, so... Although I can't see the upper collar part. That's okay. So it's a matter of, like, what helm I want to run. So it was either this one... Let's see what this one looks like. Well, I do get... That one actually looks pretty... I think that looks better with this... With the charred chess piece. That one looks pretty cool. I'll go with that. Okay. So we are repaired. Did we need to change our runes? I don't think so. Yeah, our runes are good. Okay. Actually, we need to go the other way. So I'm gonna get over there. I'll take a bio break, and then I'll do a backup save at the same time. I'll come back, and then we'll start on Orphan. That's a really cool helm. I could be wrong, but it reminds me of the helm of the NPC from the DLC.
Boy.
That German fight had a sick ending where you stab him in the middle of his slash and only one of you is left. Yes, I would be lying if I didn't say I didn't have goosebumps in that moment. That was really fucking cool. I mean, honestly, there's been a lot of moments like that. If you look at my first kill of Mesmer, although I do think the one with Gurman was a better, like, came out and turned out a little bit better, but, you know, I jumped at Mesmer, like, at the end as well, and I barely survived, but I got the kill on my first time, you know, my first kill or whatever. But, yeah. A lot of my kills isn't, you know, it might be a little bit embarrassing to admit, you know, for first times, have sometimes been like where I barely survive. But I don't know, it's kind of cool for the first time kill, you know. Oh,
Boy.
whoa, what the hell was that? Actually, hold on, let me exit out of the game. I just want to check something real quick. First time kills where you barely survive is what I think a good boss fight should be like. I agree. That's why I was like, I don't feel too embarrassed about it. I mean, my gameplay is not particularly very good, but it's cool. That's how you know you faced a challenge and overcame it. Yep, I agree. So we are right at 40 hours on this playthrough going into Orphan of Kos. This is my original. Now, even though that character is level 65, I did not kill Orphan of Kos at 65. I killed him at level 86. I reloaded a save where he was leveled up, but I don't have that save anymore. I might have it somewhere, but I couldn't find it. I wasn't really worried about it. So this is my plan. I have kind of a set of rules for this particular fight. Let me pull up what I got here. Okay, so I want to try him at level 65. I will probably go with the light version of Ludwig's. I want to try that out. I originally killed Orphan with the saw cleaver, and I used the beast blood pellets. So I had that buff, and I think I used the fire buff too, if I remember right. So one of the rules I would like to set for myself, no buffs, or at most, hold on. If anything, I might use the empty phantasm shell buff, maybe, but I would prefer to avoid using buffs. Let me pull up. So the gems that I have, well, I'm not going to be using that. Actually, I might need to go change my gems because I was going to use Ludwig for this. And yeah, I want to change out that gem. Forgot about that. Okay. Not a big deal. So obviously I'll be using a +10, and I haven't done any chalices or anything like that. All the gems that I have, I've gotten from either winter lanterns that were in the night where you fight Mikolash, or down here. I got a couple down here. In fact, the one I'm going to go load right now is actually one that I think we got down here. And then, of course, the hunters also in the DLC drop some pretty good gems as well. But I didn't really want to spend too much time farming gems. I mean, I don't mind doing it. I actually enjoy doing that because there's an RNG, and it's always kind of nice when you know, kill an enemy and maybe you get a really cool roll on a gem or something like that. Let's see. Wait, I have it on here, I think, right? So I did look up, Orphan is not a kin, so we can take that off and put it on our Ludwig. That'll bump it up a little bit. So we'll probably replace this one for the other one. Yeah, so it goes up. So we had this one, so we were at 349. So that bumps it up a little bit more too. And because Orphan's not a beast or a kin, he's humanoid, none of those will be a detriment. Although, if we end up switching back to the cleaver, then we'll go back and switch things up a bit. The cleaver, I did have a little bit of a handicap with stamina, but I didn't really notice it to be a problem. I was being a lot more conservative with my stamina, unlike the first time I did that fight. We'll just throw that one in for now. Okay.
Boy.
Also, I'm seeing a second thing about your Gurman fight, by the way. Yeah, any criticism is welcome, man. I mean, I know I'm still kind of noobish at this, but I appreciate it. I think you also might have hit the point of weapon degradation being significant because your first attempt managed to power through his poise. Yeah, that's what I was very confused about. Now, not to be redundant, just as a reminder, that was a +9, not a +10 weapon. And I went with that because, and I'm not trying to be a dick, but I felt a little insecure about upgrading it to a +10 because you've voiced that the Ludwig is a very powerful weapon, and I thought, well, maybe as a bit of a balance, you know, instead of upgrading it to a +10, let's just do it at a +9. And I did feel that it was still a challenging fight, even with a +9, but I didn't feel it was under, like, I felt it was balanced for my skill level. And I kind of felt that was one way to balance the powered nature of the Ludwig sword. I could be wrong on that. You know, I'm not saying that was the best way to do it, but it was just one way I thought we could try it. Because, you know, even with Abritus, you know, again, I only went in there at level 71 because I was kind of going off of, you know, your advice that between level 70 and level 80 was a good place to be for Abritus, but then you had mentioned that also plays a factor on the weapon, which I, you know, that was something that didn't really cross my mind at the time, but I would agree is a fair, you know, a fair argument. +9 is plenty strong for killing Gurman with most weapons. Yeah, I kind of feel, so I killed every boss in the game up until Living Failures with a +9. When I got to Living Failures, I upgraded to +10 because I hated that fight and I just wanted to get through it. And the damage was just not very good. It was just dragging out. And I could have just leveled up a level 9 weapon, you know, bought another one and made a level 9 and fought Maria with that. I could have done that. But anyways, so I discovered something. There's a guy in the Discord for the emulator for Bloodborne, and somebody was asking a new player why their game kept crashing every time a cutscene would play, or something to that effect. And I was trying to help them, you know, and I had mentioned that I've only had a couple of cutscenes fail. One would be Laborious, that just kept crashing, and Amelia was kind of stuttering or whatever, didn't quite get through. The other ones have been, some of them have been perfect, some of them have not been so good. But I had pretty much said that was kind of the only real problem that I've really faced in the emulation. And this other guy who's much more experienced, he's one of the developers, and he was saying that all the cutscenes work perfect if you're running them at 30 FPS. And I was like, oh, okay. So I want to see if there's a way to where whenever it goes to a cutscene, if there's a mod maybe that will reduce the frame rate just during the cutscenes down to 30 so it'll play perfectly, and then just go back to 60 whenever you engage the gameplay. I don't know if that's possible, but I'm going to look into that. I haven't really done it because we're kind of already at the end of the game. And the game was mostly playable, and the way I got through Laborious is I just skipped through the cutscene by just hitting the start button. Remember in the original release, the only way to get a +10 in the overworld is an obscure loot drop in Mensis Nightmare, right? So a lot of players never found it. Oh, dude, I'm glad you brought that up. So I went back and I skimmed through. If you go to, you don't need to do this, but if you want to, it would probably take too long. I wouldn't recommend it, but if you want to, there's a part 8. There's actually 2. One of them I need to delete because it's an hour-long segment of Horizon Zero Dawn. It's labeled Part 8 of Bloodborne. I don't know what happened there. But if you go to Part 8, that's where I either begin the Mensis Nightmare, and then it progresses through to Part 9. And I went through the whole thing. I just skimmed through the timeline, and I did not do the brain, and I did not get that rock. So the only rock I got was the one that I purchased with the insight. So, and I kind of thought so. I was like, I don't remember doing this. And there were a couple of other areas in the game on this second playthrough, not much, that I discovered that I missed. Oh, the 2 shortcuts. There are 2 shortcuts I missed. There's one that goes to Ludwig that I never found. It's right there. I could have just been running right to Ludwig. It's a very short run. But Ludwig, the way I play him, is a very easy fight. And then the other is the ladder going into this area for Orphan of Kos. There's also a rock in the DLC. I don't know if I found that. I don't know if I found it because I haven't needed to upgrade any weapons. I'm still using, let's see. So I'm using just these 2. That's all I've upgraded. And then I don't even think, I didn't even upgrade my pistol or my flame sprayer, but that's fine. Okay. So we're level 65. We're gonna do some progression with this. We're gonna do some progression with this, and I'm gonna see how it feels because I know this boss intimately well. Although it's been 6 years, so I know how crazy and random that he can be. And he also has the ability to change up its attacks based on your attacks. I remember that as well. I don't want to do any buffs. I want to start out at 65. That's what I originally attempted at. And even though I had a couple of close calls on my original, they were mostly good RNG. And they didn't pan out. I still didn't get the kill. If I level up, the highest I will go is level 76. And if I go to level 76, that will put my strength at 25, my skill at 25, and I'll put my vit at like probably 28. But that is the highest I'm willing to go. And that is still 10 levels below what I got on my first kill. But I want to see where it is, where we're at right now. A lot of that, if I level up, will help defense and damage. But we'll just see how it goes. I'm definitely not just gonna like, if we'll see how the damage goes because I'm not really sure how well that's gonna go. But yeah, let's just see it.
Boy.
Forgot to put on my I'm gonna put that on. Okay, so the cinematic wasn't perfect. There was a little bit of during the cuts where it would jump, but that actually played out better than I thought it was going to. I will be actually, hold on, I will most likely be using the Agor, depending, well, we'll see. But, so I don't know how. I'm gonna kind of have to do a little relearning of the fight aside from reintroduction because of the weapon I'm using, because I originally was using the saw cleaver. So we'll see how this goes. Yeah, that mood mechanic is one that I was kind of referring to. I mean, I should literally be a pro at this fight, considering how much time I fucking put in on this fight. That's a gross exaggeration, but okay, you got me. It's funny how much I see more now than I did before. I know, right? Actually, let me take off this. I don't think I'm going to need that. So, might not even need the lantern. Oh, I forgot to do this. Okay. I was going to actually spec out of Arcane, but I wanted to try this Agor of Abridus on him. Yeah, but there's always that regression too. Oh, the cane, yeah. I think you had told me, like, on my first time doing Orphan, that you did, like, some kind of challenge mode where you fought him with a cane at, like, some ridiculous low level. I think it was, like, 26 or 36 or something like that. So since we're mostly outside for this fight, I won't be, relighting the lantern every time. Oh, it is? Okay. Now, is it because of the cane form or because of the whip or both? Okay, the whip isn't even... Okay. Oh, he got me. That was bad timing. To be fair, I am actually really studying his movements, so I'm not worried about the fails. I'm just seeing what I can do and what I can't. Okay, so if I run over that way, all right. So if we run directly to it, the cavern is about at 1 o'clock. Oh shit, I didn't go underneath them. I did dodge, but I didn't go underneath them. So it's actually right at that chain right there. Yep. All right. The tracking, man. Oh, I have a conspiracy theory about the tracking of Bloodborne, and I want to run it by you and see what you think. I think the tracking is more aggressive. Boy. Yeah. I think it's more up-tuned, meaning the tracking is stronger in Bloodborne than it is in Dark Souls 3. I really believe that, because I've been noticing things with certain enemies on the tracking that normally if I was like in Dark Souls 3, I would actually, get through. And I think the reason for that, and I could be wrong, is because of the counter damage mechanic, which adds more difficulty. It's not a complaint, but it's just something that I've noticed. I could be wrong, but it does seem, more aggressive. Damn, not enough to get that heavy in. Should have just done with the Agor. Okay, that.
Boy.
Possibly. Ah. I knew he had me there. Well, one of the things I noticed, if you go to one of the area where you're headed towards the Witch of Hemwick, the rifle bros, most enemies in Souls games, not all, Elden Ring changed this quite a bit, but most enemies, when you sidestep left to right, you'll miss their range attacks. The rifle bros, and this is where I noticed it, the tracking will literally follow you regardless if you're sidestepping and hit you anyways. And that wasn't the only time I started to notice. The axe bros do it. So I don't think it's necessarily just that they swing faster. Like the real way to know would be record it at a high frame rate. Both Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3, and then go frame by frame. I did that with Liza P, because there was some bullshit going on with that fight that was really pissing me off. Basically getting hit by certain attacks from the bishop fight, and there's that fight's a little bit broken. Okay, I think I see what happened. You have to be at a certain distance to dodge underneath him when he jumps. If you're not, he'll catch you. You'd also have to check at 30 FPS, since that's what the AI. Yeah, that's a good point. It can be done, but it would require a lot of work to do. I had to throw in my bishop fight into Premiere, and I was actually recording that at a high frame rate, and I was noticing taking damage when I actually wasn't getting hit. And I was like, okay, so I'm not crazy. And then I went and watched a few other people, watching their fight, and it's a certain attack. And I was like, okay, I'm not really sure. And it's not chip damage either. It's like you're just taking damage. It's really fucking weird. And that's not the only fight, but that was where I was like able to catch it. too far. Yeah, there's not enough time to get a heavy charge attack when he jumps over. Wow, that should have killed me. I was like right on the edge of that AoE. I probably should have died there. Should have just done a fucking visceral. Nice bait. Damn. Couldn't get out of the dodge on that. That was a fair play. I'm really trying to study his movements to see, you know, so it could take a little while. When I first fought him, I wasn't really doing that the way I should have been. Oh, really? I mean, it doesn't feel bad. The damage, I mean, yeah, it doesn't feel bad. I'm not really focusing too much on the damage right now. I'm just trying to focus on learning where I can capitalize and where I can't. Yeah, I can't get through that fucking line. Okay, that was good. Those attacks with the red, that's arcane, right? Shit. Okay, I kind of thought so. Says I'm standing too close for that. Oh, I didn't get the fist roll there. Damn, he got me. Damn it! You fucking sidestep, fucker. Nice.
Boy.
All right. Oh shit. I remember this, but I didn't realize they were that fucking wide. Okay, we only got 7 heals, so